taking Johnny to Taekwondo, and the driveway's covered in stuff, and I thought that one was a little big to run over, so. Thank you. Like they said, it's windy today. They weren't kidding. It's Chimchar Community Day from 11 to 2, and then a special raid hour from 2 to 3 today. So at least while Johnny's at Taekwondo, I am trying to catch Chimchar shinies. I only have one so far on my account, so they're not popping too fast for me here today. So I didn't say last night, but Johnny did get his black piece of electrical tape, his tip on his 2nd degree black belt. He did pass his testing, so congratulations, buddy. I don't know exactly how many tips you need or when you would be up for your 3rd degree black belt, but it'll be a while. It'll be sometime in 2020 probably. And Johnny said how was class this morning?
It was pretty good.
Yeah, so you seem to have a good attitude and good time over there. It is so windy out. You know, neither one of us wants to get out of the car. It's just pretty messy out there, but I am going to drop Johnny off at the door to Walmart. I need some crazy glue for Lego League stuff, and he's going to run in there, so that'll save us from walking across the parking lot in the wind. Thank you. I dropped Johnny off here at the house, got my dinner plan together. We're going to need something warm and hearty tonight, and I'm headed back out to play Pokemon Go a little bit more. I might risk getting out of the car to go into Guardian Angel also. We'll see. You just don't want to, it's 50 now. You just don't want to be out there though. The wind is that biting. So, but I'm listening to my Audible book, and Don's fixing to put on the Alabama game. So just relaxing this afternoon. So the Chimchar Community Day is over, but now we're all out trying to get this special wheezing. There's a good group of us going around. I've got him on all my accounts now, so I think I'm going to go check out Guardian Angel and then head to the house. Well, I found Johnny some cars, and I got myself a cute little elf boy and girl, and it is just busy. I wish Johnny had wanted to come with me today, but I understand. He's in teenager mode now. There are a ton of new flags and tablecloths. I was tempted. Well, this is what I got today. This little hot cocoa cup is adorable. And I think Johnny will like this green soup mug. I honestly think the entire town of Fuquay was at Guardian Angel. Well, at least 200 people in the town were there. Maybe going on a Saturday afternoon during holiday season wasn't the smartest idea I had. But still, I got a few things that might not would have been there come Wednesday. So I'm happy I went in. But now I am to the house. There's my Donnie. And
Hey there, pretty girl.
hey there, Donnie. What are you doing out here in the cold when you don't have to be out here?
I'm adding to the wind. You know, I'm using my blower to just, you know, what is that? Butterfly flaps its wings, and there's a typhoon on the other side. So I figured I'd use my blower.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Well, my smarts on going into Guardian Angel during the holiday season on a Saturday afternoon. I think the whole town was at Guardian Angel.
Oh, of course they were.
Yeah, it was a little crowded in there.
I bet.
And I'm not one of those people that fears a crowd, so if I think it was crowded, it must have been,
yeah.
I'm sorry I was gone so long.
All right, sweet pea.
But I couldn't get through the store.
Yeah, well, I just got my 10,000 steps, and I'm just going to finish this and call her a day.
All right, I'll see you up at the house.
All right, sweet pea.
Mailbox is empty for now. Yeah, I just looked.
Okay.
I have a piece of Boston butt in the Instant Pot tonight, kind of trying to make a pork stew. Should be really good. So we are approximately 20,500 miles into this current set of tires. We're at 45 something when we got them in March.
Yeah.
And we're at 65 something now.
Yeah, 65,000 miles. Right?
Yeah.
So we got just to scooch over 20,000 miles.
Which I guess is a little surprising because that was in 9 months. So we are like really on target to make the 25K again or over it for this last year.
Right, but that probably has a little bit to do with you taking a couple longer trips. Like we went up to the DC area to go to the Amazon place. We went out to literally the farthest part of North Carolina,
almost in Tennessee. Yeah. Yep. And several trips to the solar farm, and
been down to South Carolina. So we've actually been averaging 25,000 miles a year. But since we have 65,000 miles on her now, and
it's 2 years, 5 months.
Yeah, and we've got 7 months left to go. It's very likely that we'll put that other 10,000 miles on there, no problem at all.
So you might remember the first set of tires was about 25K.
Just under 24, that's right.
Yeah, and the second set, we put this set on. We
21, 22.
Yeah, right before track day in March was when we did that to make sure we were safe on the track. But we found out the rear tires were really not in good condition.
That's right.
On the inside where you couldn't see it easily, they were worn.
We keep our suspension on low. Not very low, but low.
Right, because I refuse to get out of the X and have to slide down to the ground.
Right. One of the beautiful things that we both love about the X is the seat height is far above the floorboard. But that means then that additional height you have to step into. So if we have the car up at standard, we both notice when we get in we kind of have to go up a little bit to hit the seat, and Marianne's a little shorter than I am, so it's more noticeable to her. So if we keep it on low, it's easier. You just, it's like butt height, for lack of a better way to say it. It's just get in and out, no problem at all.
So to recap, we threw out a lot of numbers there, but we're, like I said, we're at 20,500 on this set of tires. We have not move them side to side. We can't move them front to back or back to front because they're not the same size.
They're staggered.
Yeah,
is the term for that. They're 275 in the rear, 265 in the front. 20R. Yeah.
Yeah, you might remember we had a little trouble the day these tires were put on.
the rear rims are 10 millimeter. I don't know. I've never measured. I was told they're 10 millimeters wider than the front rims.
Yeah. So Don has a tire depth gauge. And we sort of eyeballed them and go, yeah, we're not down to the tire wear yet, but...
Right. Well, yeah, this one measures in 30 of an inch. And I believe like 6/30 seconds is the legal... Once, you know, I think it varies, I think, by states, but I think 6/30 seconds is the normal depth. You can get tire gauges that they look like little round metal tubes with a little pin sticking out of them and a little T sometimes on them, and those are fine. I mean, they're inexpensive, $2 probably. An expensive one would probably cost you $5 at Walmart or something like that. This one, I don't know when I got it. I've had it a while. This is a, you know.
Well, I think, you know, I totally trust Tesla, but there were a few times prior in my life I wondered if the guys were really telling me the truth about my tires. Had I known, I could have gone and got my own gauge and kind of, yeah, they're not expensive.
If you come over to the tire, you can see the little minimum wear indicator, the little bumps. If you actually get your tread down that low to that the tread is smooth across these bumps, the tires are really, they're wore out. They need to be replaced. But the trick is getting the tires to wear evenly across. In other words, they may be one groove will be much higher than the other grooves, and so that's part of the reason that a tire depth gauge is helpful. So we'll measure it here, and you have to measure it in several different places. You got to zero your gauge. So.
Now we're just going to believe what Don says. I'm not going to try to zoom in on it every single time, so you just call it out for us.
Yeah, here, I'll go down here. Maybe we can see it down here if I do this. So that one is 6,500 30 seconds. This one is just over 7 30 seconds. That one's also 7 30 seconds. And now see, the inside here is just over 6. So I would say that because the outside is just about 6.5 30 seconds, and this one is 6.25. 6.25. It's very close. So the inside of the tire is not worn quite as much, but the tire wear, I mean, it's within 1/4 of a 32nd of an inch. So they're very, the front tires wear very well. The fact that the middle is not wore as much as the side has a little bit to do with the corning. And I guess you could say if we inflated the tires and kept them high, that tends to push the center of the tire out a little bit. But I would say at this point, the fact that the two outside edges are very even, that's showing that there's no pulling, and you know, the camber caster is correct on the tire. It's not off. If it's off, it's scooches, especially for 20,000 miles. Now we can go to the back, and this is more difficult to check because
you can't turn the tire out.
You can't turn the tire out.
Yeah. I think this requires Dawn acrobatics.
Yeah, I get that. Hopefully. Alright, so make sure I'm not hitting the outside groove. So the outside is 6. The inside is 7. The other inside is 7. And the far inside, which I'm really worried about, I can't actually read it. I'll have to pull it out. Oh yeah. Yeah, I said. I was worried about that. Oh, it's not that bad. It's 6.2. So I'm impressed. In fact, I almost don't believe it. I'm going to double check that because I just don't believe it. Okay, so on the outside, get my gauge. The outside is, farthest outside is, well, I got 6.5 30 seconds. And on the far inside, I got 6.25. I'm impressed. I would have thought it was going to be way worse than that. I was very concerned at the inside. So I've not seen Tesla tires wear quite so even on these.
The first 2 times we had the Continentals that with the foam, the ones that came on the car, and then we replaced it with the same. Tesla put the same tires on, and then Discount Tire put these Pirelli Scorpions on, which are supposed to have a higher tread wear rating. And
right.
One of the things is we are really interested to see if these tires lasted longer.
Yeah, well, at this point, like I said, I don't know. Now I'm remembering, maybe it's 3/30 seconds is the minimum depth. It's like you're supposed to take a nickel.
Well, if you're not down to the wear marks, you know you're okay.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, if you're even with the wear marks, then yeah.
So at this point, I was really more concerned about, I knew we had plenty of tread depth. I was more concerned about the tread wear across the face of the contact area of the tire. Because, as Marianne said, the last set, the inside of the rear tires wore out, and the actual down to where you could see the
belt.
Belt, that's right.
Yeah.
So it was, but the outside of the tire, if you just kind of did this little head.
Yeah, which is why we didn't know.
It did look fine.
Yep.
Yeah, and so.
Yeah, I say if you have a Model X and you're over 15K, you really ought to get down on the floor and look at the inside of the rear tires just to make sure you aren't seeing the belt. Right, I agree. Because it can look fine on the outside. Yep. And you're like, oh my God, but look what I'm driving around on the inside. So I'm going to go on, since I'm out here, and I'm going to go on and get the tires. They're down to, I think it was 40. Most of them were 40, because we've had a cold snap here. Right. And it was up at Tesla, so we haven't checked
the air pressure lately, but I usually try to keep the tires up. I run them quite high, about 44 pounds.
Right, and I guess you're going to go look at the other side too, just to make sure you don't observe any differences on the other side.
Right, that would be a good thing. Yes, don't trust on one measurement, that's correct. So this rear tire on the passenger side, the two outsides are 5.5, and the inside, I think it was about 6, 30 seconds. So this one, this tire is ever so slightly more, just about 6 1/4. So this one, the other one was 6, and this one's a half of 30 seconds less.
Well, Don was trying to decide if he should go to Discount Tire and get him to move the left to the right and the right to the left in the rear.
Well, it's actually more complicated than that. They were going to have to, they'll have to unmount this tire,
it, yeah, and
flip the tire on the rim, and then put it back on so that the outside's on the inside anyway. You just can't, with these tires, you know, you don't.
So you weren't even talking about going side to side. You were just going to flip the rubber on the wheel.
Yeah, I guess in this scenario, it would be good to go side to side, but also you have to flip the wheel, flip the tire so that the inside is now on the outside.
Okay.
Because if you put this tire on the other side, the outside is still on the outside and the inside is still on the inside. It's just, it's going to turn the opposite way. These are not directional tires. There are such things as directional tires, but these tires are not directional. They can spin either direction.
Okay.
Outside is 6 1/4. Inside is just a 7 and just a scooch over 7. The other one is just under 7, the other inside, and then the farthest inside on this one, get it down here, is 6. So again, so we got a half of a 30 seconds difference between the far furthest inside, which was 6 30 seconds, and the outside was 6.5 30 seconds. Of course, I would say that you can read down on this gauge probably to easily a 64th. So I don't know that some gauges, I don't know you can read that close, but this one you can actually read it quite close if you want.
Well, I'm going to let Don make the call about messing with the tires, but right. I'm loath to let Discount Tire touch my car, so I may have to send him and not go so I can avoid the stress.
Well, we, at this point, I don't, they're so close, I don't know that half of 30 seconds is significant. If it was a 30 seconds difference, then I would probably be zoop it up there, the next week. But they're less than they're about a 64th difference between the inside and the outside, so they're very close.
Do we know what it was when it was new?
Yeah, these things were very deep. I did not actually measure, but a lot of tires are only started about like 8, but these were deeper. These were probably like 10 or 12.
So do we think we're on target for more than 25K?
Right.
Are we going to get another 4,500 or 5,000 miles on these tires?
I think we're easily going to get 30,000 out of these tires. We're at 20,000 now. I'm sure we will safely get another 10,000 miles out of these tires. So we will get more tread life. Really, the difference between these isn't that these tires are better wearing. These just had a deeper tread to start with. If you look at the Continentals when they were brand new and you measured the tread depth, it was only, I don't know, 8 30 seconds or 9 30 seconds or something, but these were probably 11 or 12. So these had 2 or 3 30 seconds more tread on them to wear. They gave you more tire.
Right.
So it was noticeable, pronounced, even with your naked eye, you could see the difference.
Okay. Well, they've been driving fine.
Right. I would say the only thing I've noticed about these tires is I do believe they are a scooch noisier, but not a lot. They're not unbearable, but they are just a tad noisier. I can hear tire noise from time to time on different surfaces. I can hear but it's not enough for the you know, the Continentals are great tires, except for they're very expensive. They don't last long.